There's a specific type of person who stays late every single night, not because they're falling behind, but because they're terrified of being just okay. They're the ones who handle every crisis in the office without raising their voice, whose calendars are a meticulously organized battlefield of deadlines, and who somehow make the hardest tasks look like a light afternoon stroll. On the outside, they look like the ultimate success story, the reliable pillar of the community. But inside, there is a constant, grinding machinery of anxiety that never stops. This is the world of the quiet overachiever. It's a psychological state where your worth is tied entirely to your next win, yet you've mastered the art of hiding the effort it takes to get there. It's not just about working hard, it's about the silent cost of maintaining a perfectionist facade that's slowly draining your battery to zero. Today, we're looking at the 6 hidden signs that you're living this exhausting reality and why the very traits that make you successful might be the same ones leading you toward a silent breakdown. Let's investigate. To understand why someone becomes a quiet overachiever, we have to look at the psychological blueprint of the high-functioning shield. Most people think overachievement is fueled by ambition, but for the quiet type, it's actually fueled by a fear of exposure. It's the duck syndrome, a calm, serene duck gliding across a glass-like lake, while beneath the surface, its feet are paddling at a frantic, desperate pace just to stay afloat. Sign number 1 is the competence trap. You've become so good at solving problems that people have stopped asking if you need help. In a busy corporate office or a chaotic family dynamic, you are the person who just gets it done. Because you don't complain and you don't miss deadlines, your peers and managers assume the work is easy for you. Therefore, they pile on more. You find yourself trapped in a cycle where your reward for good work is simply more work. And because your identity is built on being the reliable one, you can't say no. You start to feel like a high-performance engine that everyone forgot needs oil and maintenance. This leads directly into sign number 2, the invisible effort paradox. A quiet overachiever spends hours or even days perfecting a project, but when they present it, they downplay the struggle. You might find yourself saying phrases like, "Oh, it was nothing," or "I just whipped it together," when in reality, you stayed up until 3 a.m. researching every possible variable. There is a deep-seated psychological need to make excellence look effortless, but this creates a dangerous disconnect. When people don't see the effort, they don't value the result as much as they should. You end up feeling invisible even when you're standing in the spotlight. The third sign is what psychologists call anticipatory anxiety. While others are relaxing on a Friday evening, the quiet overachiever is already playing out Monday's potential failures in their mind. You aren't just doing your job. You're playing a mental game of chess against every possible disaster. You check your emails at dinner, not because you have to, but because the not knowing is more painful than the work itself. You've created a mental prison where the only way to feel safe is to be 3 steps ahead of everyone else. It's exhausting because there is no finish line. The moment you cross one goal, your brain immediately moves the goalpost further down the field. Sign number 4 is the internalized standard. For most people, a boss or a client sets the bar. For the quiet overachiever, the bar is set by a ruthless internal critic that is far more demanding than any real-world manager. You could receive a glowing performance review and a raise, but if you made one tiny typo on page 40 of a report, that's all you can think about. You don't feel successful. You feel like a fraud who hasn't been caught yet. This is the imposter syndrome on steroids. You're achieving at a high level, but because you don't feel like you own your success, you feel like you have to work twice as hard tomorrow just to prove you belong in the room today. This brings us to sign number 5, the emotional buffer role. Because you are so stable and high achieving, you often become the emotional dumping ground for everyone else. Your friends, family, and coworkers see you as the strong one. They bring you their problems because they know you'll handle them with a calm exterior. But because you're a quiet overachiever, You don't feel like you have the right to be vulnerable. You feel like if you show a crack in the armor, the whole system will collapse. You're carrying your own heavy load while simultaneously acting as a bridge for everyone else to walk across. Finally, sign number 6 is the delayed burnout effect. Most people burn out loudly. They get angry, they quit, or they make mistakes. The quiet overachiever burns out silently. It starts with a loss of joy in things you used to love. Then comes the physical toll, chronic headaches, a tight jaw, or a feeling of heavy fatigue that sleep can't fix. You keep hitting your targets, you keep making the sales, and you keep showing up, but the you inside the machine is fading away. You're running on fumes, but because the machine still looks shiny on the outside, nobody notices you're about to stall. So, why is this so exhausting? It's because you are fighting a two-front war. On one side, you're fighting the actual work and the demands of the world. On the other side, you're fighting the internal pressure to keep the struggle hidden. It's the hiding that drains the most energy. When you can't be honest about how hard the climb is, you never get to enjoy the view from the top. If you recognize yourself in these signs, it's time to realize that your reliability shouldn't be your prison. The world won't fall apart if you ask for help, and your value doesn't decrease just because people see the effort you put in. The first step to escaping the cycle of the quiet overachiever is strategic vulnerability. Start by admitting to one person that a task is actually difficult. Break the effortless facade. When you allow the world to see the work behind the win, you allow them to actually support you. You've spent your whole life being the pillar for everyone else. It's okay to let someone else hold the weight for a while. If you found this look into the quiet overachiever's mind helpful, you're likely the kind of person who is always looking to understand the why behind your behavior. Subscribe and join others who are learning how to achieve without losing themselves in the process. I'll see you in the next one.